Yo, what's up, YouTube? We back, guys. We back with another one. Here we go. Another banger for y'all. I tell y'all, every Friday, man, it's going to be banger after banger and after banger. So make sure y'all tap in. Regular Cars on YouTube. I'll repeat that. It's Regular Cars on YouTube. Make sure y'all tap in. Tell a friend and tell a friend to hit the subscribe button as well. Leave a positive comment, and don't forget to turn on your post notifications. Also, guys, Instagram is Regular Cars on Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Instagram too, because what's going to happen is when you follow me on Instagram, you get like a 2 to 3 week advance notice of what's going to drop on the YouTube channel. So make sure you tap into that as well. And we got TikTok. So it's Regular Cars on TikTok. When you follow me on TikTok, what's going to happen is you're going to see the same cars that you see on the YouTube channel, but we're going to flip it, bounce it. We could put music to it. It's a lot. It's a lot. It gets mixy. So make sure y'all tap in to Regular Cars on TikTok as well. Now that I took care of the housekeeping business. Oh, one more other thing too. Make sure you watch this whole video to the end, because the sheesh meter, I said this probably the last 4 or 5 episodes, the sheesh meter is definitely in effect. And how that works, if you're new to the channel, is you're gonna see how many times I say sheesh during the video. Now, mind you, it's nothing premeditated. I do not know when the sheesh is gonna come out. It just happens to come out whenever I get wowed by something. So based on how many times I say the word sheesh, you can kind of gauge how crazy the car is. All right, so just keep that in mind. Watch it to the end of the video. That's very important. Now that I took care of all the housekeeping, I think it's time to introduce y'all to the man of the hour. Let's do it. Yo, my guy.
What's going on, brother?
We made it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got us out in the mountains, in the hills, somewhere in the mix right quick.
Yes,
but
sir.
it's definitely worth it, bro.
I'm glad you like it, man.
I appreciate you coming out today. This is going to be big. This is going to be irregular. Very different from what the people are used to seeing. So I'm blessed, bro. I'm happy and I'm humbled that you came out.
Appreciate that, man.
Facts. Let the people know what's your name, what city and state you represent, and if you're down with any type of team, let them know that too.
For sure. What's going on, guys? My name is Ramber. I'm from Haledon, New Jersey, close to like Patterson area, Wayne area, if you're familiar. Shout out to Realist Media. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the guys over at Realist Media representing. Today, brought to you guys my 2017 Ford Fusion.
Yo, he went right into it, and that's my next question. I was gonna say, let the people know what's the year, make, and model. Repeat that one more time. 2000 what?
2017 Ford Fusion.
Ford Fusion, guys. You heard it right. 2017 Ford Fusion. That's irregular in itself, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Fact. So I'm kind of excited to let the people know what you got going on with it. So based on the fact that it's irregular, right? Just to have a Ford Fusion in the whole, I guess, that whole car scene element. You know what I mean? I gotta ask you, what made you even get a Ford Fusion?
So back in 2020, I'd say I started working at Ford as a salesman.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Honda Accord Coupe. I'm a Honda guy at heart. I grew up loving Hondas, Japanese cars primarily. I like all types of cars, ideally, European, American. But it was when I started working at Ford, I started liking the Fords a lot. And I was still driving my Honda. And at the time, the car was older. It was running down a little bit. It was tough times at the moment. I'm like, things were getting better. Things were shaping up. But I needed to get out of the car. I'm driving 45 minutes a day. This thing is like, it just needs work every month. It's an older car, high mileage. I loved it, but I put a lot of work into it. But some things, priorities first to say. And what ended up happening is, one day I was like telling my boss, I'm like, what's up? I need a car, man. I just want to get a nice car to drive for a year, and then I'll figure out and I'll get something, later on.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, I was gonna get a Ford Edge.
Okay.
SUV, right? And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I wanted something comfortable. I wanted something that I could just drive every day, no problem.
Yeah.
The same day, I was about to take that car. I was just going to the office, start signing for it. this car came off the trailer, and you know, I'm seeing it. They park it right in front of the window by my desk, and it's
it was a hit for you. It was meant.
It's crazy enough. I always thought the Fusion was a great looking car, but I never thought I'd get one.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, you know, I'm still young.
Yeah.
Why do I need to get SUV yet? You know, like, why not? And I'm looking at it. I see that I go online. I'm like, it's on our website.
Yeah.
It's inventory car, and the price was a lot less expensive than the Edge, and it had only 13,000 miles on it. You know what I mean? The Edge had like 45,000 miles on it, and it was more expensive. So I was like, hold on, this seems like a hit. Like, yeah, I'm losing out on the all-wheel drive, but I still got a great engine, great power, and I was like, car had everything I liked.
Facts.
And before I closed, you know, we closed the dealer for the shift, I took it on a test run down Route 10. That's where I was working at the time. And I parked it, and I was like, I'm taking this one.
You're taking this one?
Taking this one, yeah.
Sheesh. That was it.
That was it. I connected my Bluetooth to it, and that was it. I was sitting back. I was like, nah, this is it. This
is it right here?
Yeah.
Yikes.
This is it. And even in that time, I thought it was going to be temporary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And here we are 3 years later.
3 years later, he's still rocking the Ford Fusion.
Yeah.
And happy about it.
I am actually.
Facts.
I'm pretty happy about the car, actually.
Facts. That's crazy, because in your reasoning why you got it, you kind of again answered the next question. But I'm gonna still ask you, because this channel, one of the main foundations of the channel is I want to motivate people, right? I want to inspire them. I want them to know that the cars that they see on the channel is we're regular guys driving these cars, and girls. We're not, we're not the Billionaire Boys Club. We're not, the famous athletes and singers, any of that. We're regular people who go to work every day. So part of me building the channel was based on that. So I gotta ask you, like, and you kind of answered it, but I don't know if it's to this current day. But I'm just gonna ask it. What do you do now for a living to be able to make your car unique the way it is?
So I sell cars for a living. I'm a car salesman, and I've been in car sales, new car sales, pretty much when I got this car. So yeah, that's still what I do today. I don't work for Ford anymore. I ventured my way over to Audi. Then I ended up moving down to Subaru, where I am now. And obviously it's been a pretty good career for me so far. When I started the career, it was when I got this car, so times are a little bit rough. So which is why I had to part ways with the Honda.
Facts.
Facts. But shortly after, this car came along, and then everything fell along pretty well. So yeah.
Speaking of things falling along pretty well, you ready to show the people the car?
Yeah, I am actually. Yeah.
Let's show the people the car, bro. Sheesh! It's the baby right here. Yikes. I love it, bro.
Thank you.
It's so simple and so clean. You don't understand, man. I love it. I love the way it's just sitting like perfect. Like,
thank you.
It reminds me of a model car, if that makes sense. Like, it just, the way it sits is almost like put me on the cover of a magazine type of deal.
That means a lot, man, for real.
Facts. So let the people know, what are we looking at exterior wise? What did you do so far?
All right, so I'll go straight into the wheels, because the first thing you're gonna notice, they look OEM. They are OEM actually. They're 19-inch Lincoln MKZ wheels. The Lincoln MKZ and the Ford Fusion share the same exact chassis. So the lug pattern, the hub is exactly the same. So I found a great deal on those, and we slapped those on there.
So let me ask you, you said those are the Lincoln MKZ wheels?
Yep.
What made you even go that route? Like Lincoln, how do you even make that connection?
So, that's just my general knowledge of cars, especially at that time, working at Ford.
Yeah.
So, Ford and Lincoln are the same. And I remember seeing a car on our lot with these wheels, and it was just a pre-owned car. It was a trade-in.
Yeah.
And I thought, hey, those wheels will look pretty sick on my car one day, right?
Yeah.
But this wasn't until long after where I came across the wheels online.
That's crazy.
And I was like, that's those wheels.
That's crazy, man. I mean, actually, I learned from you today, because I stay trying to learn from all my features. So one of the things I already learned from you today is that Lincoln is like the luxury line for Ford. I didn't even, people might think like, yo, you bugging, how you didn't know that? But for some reason, I never even made that connection. That's crazy.
That's okay. I mean, you know what the thing is, you know, Ford is not one of those brands that a lot of people are necessarily into or like have a lot of knowledge about.
Right.
But one thing I learned about Ford is that there's a lot to learn about Ford, and there's a lot of things you could do with Ford. Really a lot.
Facts. Now, what size wheels are these?
So these are 19s, 19 by 8.
19 by 8. Now, factory, the way your car came, what size wheels did it come with?
So it was on a 18 by 8 wheel.
Okay, so it's not too much of a crazy difference.
Nope.
So it was pretty easy to like make the fitment, like all of that was pretty easy, or?
So one of the reasons I went with this wheel was because I knew I could fit this wheel no problem. Had the same, you know, it's the same width. It's the same. Essentially, it's designed to fit on this car.
Okay.
So I was like, I could throw a spacer on it because that's what it does have. It has a 1-inch spacer.
Okay.
I can put the smaller tire, the thinner tire, and then low when I get, you know, the car was already lowered at the time. So I was like, okay, well, they should fit. So I did a test fit. I lowered it. I measured it. I'm like, okay, well, the tire is probably going to be just about where it sits right now. So we made that test, and obviously I figured it would work out well. And yeah, so it's essentially it's pretty OEM, really. Like it's really just a tire difference, really.
Facts. Now you said that when you got the car, it was already lowered already?
Oh no, I'm saying when at the time of me fitting these wheels on the car, it was already lowered. Yeah, it was already on suspension.
Okay. So you lowered the car yourself, though?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't lower it originally myself. I did not. Unfortunately, I should have, but we didn't do it. I took it to a shop because the car was so new, had such low mileage. I was like, you know, I wanted to do everything right. So I was like, let me just take it to a professional.
No, that makes sense. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, speaking of it being lowered and looking at how pretty it sits, how did you lower it? Is it on bags? Is it on, like, what do you have it on? What's your setup?
So right now it's sitting on a BC racing coilovers.
Coilovers.
Yep.
Nice.
The BR series. Yep.
Now, because it's on coilovers, that means it stays like this all the time? You drive it like this?
Yeah, it's actually maxed out on the coilovers currently.
Sheesh. Hold on, guys. I gotta definitely do a finger check right quick. Guys, I can't put my hand in there. Literally, I'm stopped right here. Sheesh. How's your turn? You can turn? You can turn pretty smooth?
Absolutely. Like you'll notice a little bit of rub on the tire, a little bit of like, you know, a little bit of chipping.
Okay, I didn't even notice, but
it's okay. Like I'm not really mad about it. That's the price to pay when you want the car to sit like this, which it's really not crazy. It's just small. I could touch it up. Yeah. You know, so I'm not too worried about it.
Nah, it looks so good though, the way it's sitting. And I'm happy that, now I gotta ask you though, you say you could turn, you say you stay low like this because it's the BC coilovers, it's not on bags or anything like that. How's the ride? Is it like, is it rough or is it how you think it is?
So this setup that I have specifically, I feel like it's a little bit on the softer side. I would prefer to have a stiffer spring for it, just so I could, you know, go over everything and not have as much play in the suspension. Okay. So that's like kind of my one complaint, but it's really just a spring upgrade at that point. So it's a soft suspension setup. Like it feels good going over everything, even at this height. Just the downfall to that is occasionally it will bottom out. Okay. So that's one thing I'm looking to upgrade at some point. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but other than that, the car rides really smooth with this setup. Very
nice, nice. Let's take I want to just take a little walk around the car because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Definitely. Because although the things you did were subtle, it changes the whole look of the car. Yeah. Very subtly, but it changes the whole look. So I don't want to skip anything. Now, going back here, something popped out to me. I think you know what I'm leading to. What does that say? Mondeo? What is that, bro?
So that's Mondeo. So in Europe, so these are the places that this car is a Mondeo. Europe is going to be a Ford Mondeo pretty much. And I believe Australia is a Mondeo. I could be wrong. There's a couple places I know Europe for sure. It's a Ford Mondeo. Brazil, it's still a Fusion. However, the car is really very, very like European oriented, I'd say.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got a lot of European-esque to it. The design is actually European, originated. Like the person that designed this car is originally from Europe.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. And there's also a rumor too, and I'll probably show you in a second for the front. Just to get into the Mondeo aspect still. In Europe, it's a Ford Mondeo, so I figured it'd be different if I did that to this car, because a lot of my friends, including myself, we're into like, swapping the TSXs to like the Accord Euro R, or like other cars, like the Lexus IS300, IS200 into the Altezza. Same with a lot of cars, Japanese cars primarily, switching out the badges for the European model or Japanese model. So I figured this is an American car. It'd be different if I did that. It was probably one of the first things I did to the car. And I found it on eBay, ordered it from Spain. It was cool. The packaging came in like Spanish. Like it was so cool. And it had European writing. It's authentic. It was from Ford too. So I was pretty happy about that. And I figured that'd be different. It was something really simple,
That's dope. I didn't know it was so connected in Europe like that. Being as it was an American car, but
I had a European plate actually for just vanity under this plate. I didn't really have it attached properly and it flew off, unfortunately. I would have loved to show you guys what that looks like.
Right.
But this back plate area displays a European plate perfectly just because of how wide it is.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So like it's universal. That's the whole idea of it.
Facts. That's the L right there.
So this is a Ford Mondeo instead of a Fusion.
Exactly.
Even my friends, when I call it a Fusion, they're like,
Mondeo,
like,
bro. Don't mess up. Mondeo.
I'm like, you're right.
That's ill right there. That's ill.
Yeah, man.
Okay. And what is this right here? I didn't ask you about that, but what is that?
Actually, that's the shop that does my alignments on my car. So they're the first shop that I took it to that were actually able to align my car. So I'm gonna shout them out because they definitely were the ones that told me what I needed to do to fix it. And I brought it back to them to realign it, and they hooked me up with the pricing and stuff. And even when I go there now, they show me mad love. Again, they were the ones that aligned my car, and I think I mentioned at some point.
Yeah.
There was issues.
You did. Yeah, you did say that. Okay. And what is it? Koi or is it KDI? How does it pronounce?
So it's called Koi Works.
Koi Works.
Koi Works. Yeah. So shout out Koi Works.
Shout out to Koi Works. Y'all did a great job, man.
For real, man. Yeah. Thank you.
Facts. Now me myself, I'm moving around the car. But if I skip anything, feel free to stop me at any time. Like, let me talk about that.
Definitely. I mean, I was gonna say if I could just bring up the whole alignment situation.
Yeah, please.
Because they're a stand shop actually, so they were the ones that I brought it to, and they were my last resort. They were a little far from me, but I was like, whatever.
Where are they located?
They're like in Linden area.
Okay, Linden,
so a little far
Linden,
from
New
me.
Jersey. Okay.
Elizabeth, around there. And pretty much once I had lowered the car, I've been had the car lowered, I'm sorry, but when I put these wheels on it and I put the spacers on it, with these tires, there was an issue with trying to align the car. The back toe didn't want to straighten out.
Really?
So the way that this car works, the subframe has like a little, it has something for the eccentric bolt in the rear to align it. Some people may know, if you're watching, probably you would know better than me. I still get confused about it, but essentially something needed to be re-welded in order to align the car in the rear because it wasn't aligning. So my one wheel was crooked like that.
Really?
And I had just put the tires on, so it was already eating away at it. So they were able to tell me exactly right away what the issue was when I brought it to them. And they were like, you got to get that fixed. And that was after getting it aligned 3 times.
Wow.
So I paid for 3 alignments before I could actually get the last alignment right.
That's crazy.
And that was before I took it to them. So that's why I say shout out to them, because like I took it to them and they told me what to do, and I got to figure it out, brought it back. And the car rides like a Maybach.
Now it rides like a Maybach, no doubt. No doubt.
That's one good thing about it.
Now, with that alignment issue that you ran into, was that something just like wear and tear on the car, or was it related to you changing the wheels?
So the issue probably persisted originally from when I was getting the alignment done. And then I think at some point when I added this type of fitment to it and I was trying to achieve it, when they aligned it, they screwed up. Someone screwed up at some point, and they shaved out one of the bolts, or again, it's like a bracket or something like that. So yeah, that was unfortunate.
Okay. Now let's see. Let's keep moving, and unless there's something else going on, I'm gonna just keep moving. Yeah, the front of the car. definitely stands out. When I look at the front, that's one of the first things. Fog lights, matter of fact. I see those are like a nice color yellow. Did they come like that?
No, absolutely not. I actually did the wrap myself on it. It was just one day last summer, or I'd say last fall. You know, me and my friends were just bored. I had the wrap already ordered, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. I was a little nervous to do it because I was like, I never done like film wrap or anything like that. But it was pretty simple, and it worked out pretty well, and I did it. I did it pretty good.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I'm looking at it, I didn't even realize that. So you actually wrapped it. It's like you put a wrap on it.
Oh yeah, that's a yellow vinyl. Yeah.
Wow, that's ill. Well, what bugs me out about the fact that it's a wrap is the fact that you can still see through it, like you can see the bulb and all of that. When I think of wrap, for some reason, I think if you would have told me, yo, I wrapped it in yellow, I would have imagined that it would have just been the shape of it in straight bold yellow. Meaning I can't see no bulb or nothing like that. Almost like painting over it.
I would say a tint maybe, but you know, like it is like I guess like a wrap, like that film that goes over. So it's like a headlight, tail light film. And
nice.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the best things I did. I like the yellow. I'm a big fan of yellow lights. I just love the foreign-esque.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm a big fan. Also, it's very like there's something about it that's like pretty old school too, like the foreign aspect of it too. Like I said, a lot of the older '90s cars used to have like the yellow fog lights, you know, on the headlights, which is like older Acuras, like Legends. And
I remember that.
And I'm a fan of those type of cars. You know, this is why this car is the way it is. You know, it's that styling. You know,
definitely, I definitely remember that. Now you took something out. There's something missing here. However, guys, take a look at how he got this here in the front. What made you do that? And what's missing?
So you'll notice below the intercooler is very exposed. Now, that piece, there's a piece at the bottom that is supposed to cover that. And it only allows like a small amount of air to really go there for the actual intercooler, the factory one. So I knew I was going to upgrade this. And yeah, I know I was going to upgrade it. So I was like, you know what, let's remove it. I want to get all the air that it could get. Plus, these cars have an issue with like heat soaking on the turbos. At some point in time, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I drive the car pretty hard. So like, I wanted to make sure it was getting all the fresh air. So I just opened it up, I exposed it, and I'm a fan of the look. It's dramatic. I like it, you know?
Yeah, it is dramatic, but I think it changes the look, but it adds to the look at the same time. It changes it in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Once I did that with that upgrade and I exposed it like that, everybody noticed it right away. Like,
facts.
People went crazy for it. It was like, wow, like that looks different. Like,
yeah, that's a big change right there. Facts. I think we covered everything on the exterior, but again, if I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know. What's going on interior wise?
Interior wise, nothing much crazy. I just did something simple to the interior, like I did the dash mat. I'm a fan of the dash mat. It's like an old school thing.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't think I've seen anybody with a dash mat.
Yeah,
go check that out.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things.
It's like a carpet for the dashboard.
Yeah, that one's actually in Alcantara too. So it's one of those things that like I had it in every car I've owned so far. This is my third car I've ever owned. So
is that right?
Yeah, so I've had it in every car I've owned, and of course I had to get it in my this car, no doubt about it.
Of course.
So yeah, I did that to the dashboard. Something simple. It blends in nicely, but it looks very clean, OEM and sleek.
Yeah.
And then to the back here, I just added a
nice.
It's I want to use the terminology that we use up here for it, but it's pretty much just for voice.
Nice.
It has the voice speakers, the tweeters.
Take a look at the front of that. Check that out.
Yeah, it's using two audio pipes. It's like 500 watts, and then also has
500 watts.
Yeah. It's not pushing all the 500 watts, unfortunately, but
no, that's hard though.
It does the job for now. It's wired to my factory amp. Nothing crazy. I only did that because I had full sound system in this car.
Okay.
And I was having voltage issues because of that. Even when I had a second battery installed. you know, I at that point it was like I spent a lot of money into it. It wasn't really worth it for me, so I got rid of it.
Okay.
And I just put just a subwoofer back in it, like I had originally when I first bought the car. I put a sub in it.
Can we see what the sub look like?
100%.
I like to spoil the viewers.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I love to spoil the people. This led right into my audio question, so that's perfect. Check out this subwoofer back here. Still.
So the sub is enclosed. Even on the other side, it does have like something covering it. But it does sound really good because of that.
Okay.
And it's just using one Rockford amp for the sub. But it's a JL sub, so it's like supposed to be 1200 watts. It sounds pretty good. And honestly, like I'm not looking for nothing crazy. I'm not like trying to shake the block. You know, I just want good quality sound. You know, that's why I just did what I did for now.
Yeah. And
then later on down the road, I'll figure out like the heavier audio situation, because then at that point I'd have to upgrade the alternator. You know, and those are things that like I don't really want to do to this car right now. I want to own it for a lot longer than that before I get too technical.
Technical.
Yeah.
Because I see people adding 2 and 3 batteries, and it gets pretty technical with the audio.
Absolutely, it does get really technical, and even just from doing what I did was just 1 battery, 2 amps, like crossover, equalizer, and like a second radio with like 3 equalizers actually. So I had a really good setup.
Nice.
It just couldn't push the power because the car wouldn't allow it to, you know.
Right.
And that's the thing with this car. You run into issues like that. Like it's been lately. I will tell you, it's been a little bit disappointing with trying to do certain things because like there's not enough things for the platform yet. You know. But you know, in terms of like doing like audio things like that, like not so many people, like I said, do that type of stuff to these cars. At least here in America. So it's harder to figure those things out, you know.
Right.
Because in Brazil, they're very popular cars actually in Brazil.
Oh yeah.
And they do like crazy audio systems, you know, crazy audio systems.
Yeah.
But, you know,
so it could be done.
It can be done, but you know, you got to upgrade that alternator. Right. You got to run all this extra power supply stuff, you know, and they know that, you know, they're so used to doing that. It's cake for them.
Facts.
You know, and I'm sure at some point I could figure it out without having to go too crazy.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'm not too worried about it right now.
Facts.
Yeah.
Now, what about performance? Did you touch performance at all?
No, performance besides the intercooler upgrade, that's pretty much it. Just intercooler upgrade, and I just recently did a tune-up, some heavy maintenance on it, and you know, new spark plugs, and it's actually running a lot better now. It was running on the original spark plugs, of course, and I was like worried about that. I was like, all right, hopefully the spark plugs, like they're burnt evenly, because you know, usually with these cars, like I said, the only thing with these cars, you got to kind of make sure, keep an eye on them. You know, it's not a Honda, it's not a Toyota. You know, you could have used it if you want, but it's, you know, just remember, it's like I said, not a Honda or Toyota. You know, they make really strong engines, so some people get the misconception that like you could do that to a car like this, and you know, it's not a car that I'm originally familiar with, so it's going to take me a lot of time to really understand the capability of it.
Right.
However, I've seen someone make 400 horsepower out of this.
Sheesh.
This block.
Sheesh.
So
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I think it can do it. You know, I think it can hold power pretty well.
Future plans.
I do plan on tuning it actually. I do plan on doing a tune on it.
Okay.
Yeah, with the downpipe. Probably for the exhaust, I don't want it to be loud. I just want to do a nice exhaust for it. Nothing loud though. Probably have it muffled pretty well. Because a car like this, I want to keep it quiet, you know, but give it the performance.
Facts.
And and actually one of my the person that I actually purchased the intercooler off, shout out to him. He actually bought one brand new, which was this one, but it came damaged, and he repaired it.
Okay.
And it was just simply a dent, but you know, they sent him a new one. He was like, "Listen, they don't want it back. Let me.
If you want it,
yeah." And he sold it to me, and for half the price, that intercooler is $800.
Are you serious?
That's $800 for that intercooler.
Check this intercooler out one more time, guys. This is an $800 intercooler we're looking at.
So that's a Steeda Performance intercooler.
That's why it looks so good, though.
Yeah, and it's designed to actually fit the OEM tubing, so it pretty much just snaps right on. As long as you can fit it in there. You know, it was a struggle to really get this thing in there. Like, I mean, like a struggle. It took me like 4 or 5 hours, me and my friend.
Yikes.
Put this thing in. We have to take out some sort of fan, not a fan, these vents for like economy, I guess, whatever they're called. Like, I guess like for your air. Like if you're coasting, I just ripped that out. I was like, I don't need it. And the car actually got better fuel economy with this on. Like I said, these engines get pretty hot in the turbo area because of that. Because the factory one is blocked off so much. You only literally get this much of a hole for the factory intercooler.
Wow.
And it's so small. So, you know, the issue with these, the turbos can blow. because of that. That's just a factory problem.
Yeah.
You know, and that right there can save me a lot of money in the long run too, even though it's expensive now. And it looks great. And
it looks great.
Torque and power gain with it too, without a tune.
Nice.
Feel it.
That's definitely ill. It's a lot of pluses with getting that one.
Yeah, 100%.
So let me ask you, because you said the original way it's set up with the original intercooler, it's kind of like a factory issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, putting this together, based on what you did thus far, did you encounter any major headaches or anything that made you say, damn, if I would have to do this over, I wouldn't touch doing this? Did you encounter that at all? You mentioned a couple small headaches, like with the rear wheel situation.
Yeah, so the wheels, that was, you know, when I got into each of those. So I'll tell you one thing, right? The one thing that annoyed me with this car at some point was like, I was literally I'm doing everything right? I spent the $1,200 on the suspension, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I never did that before. So I did that with this car because it's newer, it's nice. I was able to do it. I did it, right?
Yeah.
You know, got that on the car. As soon as that was on the car, 3 days later, all my dashboard is lit up like a Christmas tree. Literally. Like a Christmas tree. So I'm like, all right, great. My first mod, took it to a professional, boom. Now the issue was pretty small. It was nothing major. Like even the installer, like I don't blame him for the issue. He had his trainee, I guess, doing it or whatever the case may be. Even then, he knew what he was doing. Just on the coilover, it didn't have a place for the wheel sensor to hold on to, so they just forgot to tie it up to something.
Okay.
Yeah, so they didn't tie it up to something right. And then what happened was when I was driving home, the sensor was dangling and it was rubbing on my wheel, and then it got exposed to the metal. So then that sensor made like pretty much my sensors turn off, like my park sensors turn off, all the lights on the dash turned on, except for my check engine light, and it was just like a malfunction pretty much because of that. So I got it to work. One of my coworkers, he was really well knowledgeable at the time, and we figured it out.
Right.
And it was just simply that it was grounding out. So we literally just taped it up. The alignment shop made amends to it. Okay. So that was perfectly fine with me. So I wasn't mad about that. That was a big hiccup at first because I was like, wow, like this is crazy. It's such a new car. It's got warranty on it. You know, and I'm like, oh my God. You know,
I wouldn't have thought that the alignment would have had anything to do with the dashboard lighting up.
Well, you know what it was? It was it was just the installation.
Right.
You know, they didn't technically finish the installation properly. Realistically, they didn't tie up those sensors to the coilover, well, to the strut per se. So they were just hanging. And usually on the factory ones, they have a spot where they clip into. Okay. This doesn't have a clip because they're aftermarket. So that was the big issue right there.
Got you.
So
all right.
That was a hiccup. Like I said, when I finally did the wheel setup with these tires and I took it to get aligned so many times and no one could figure out why it wasn't aligning. And then I finally took it to Coilworks and they were able to tell me why the car wasn't, aligning. It wasn't able to align essentially. And they told me what I needed to do. And that was like $400 later in just alignment. So because I took, like I said, three times to get it aligned, by people in the shop, paying them to do it and taking it to another place, paid them to do it. They couldn't do it. And I was like, this is crazy. Like no one was able to figure this out, so it was just a big headache. Right. And, that was like, okay, well, once we got that figured it out, car started driving great again. So
back to running like a baby.
Yeah. And, also too, those wheels, by the way, forgot to mention, like I drove like 2 hours to pick those up.
Really?
Yeah, I drove 2 hours to pick these wheels up.
Sheesh. Is it that hard to find, or what was the purpose of that long trip?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I saw them on a car at work, and I thought those would look great on my car one day. And then months later, I'm ready to look for wheels. I'm trying to put some other wheels on that weren't fitting. And I saw these on Facebook, and I was like, they're 19s, they're the same size. I could throw them on there, no problems, just a spacer and a smaller tire. And it worked out just the way I thought it would. And it was definitely worth the 2 hour drive and the $200.
$200?
Yeah.
Yikes. Hold on.
Yeah.
When you say $200.
Yeah.
Per wheel?
No, for the set with tires. $200 for the set. Yeah, I have not.
So guys,
I've never paid top dollar for wheels for any of my cars. Even my last car, I had a set of like really rare authentic wheels for it, and I paid like $300 for them, and they were worth like almost $2,000.
That's crazy.
So I like to pick up deals, and these wheels are worth well worth more than $200.
Yes, $200, guys, for the wheels and with the tires. Yo, that's worth 2 hours.
Worth it, yeah.
I would have drove 4 hours for that.
It was supposed to be. The guy was nice enough to meet me halfway, though.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Yeah. He wanted to see a picture of the car. I sent him a picture of it. He was pretty happy when he saw a picture of it on the wheels.
Nice.
Yeah, he was an older gentleman. Yeah, so he was like pretty happy about it. Shout out to Bill if you're watching this.
Bill, tap in.
I remember
you gotta hit up Bill. Be like, yo, watch me on YouTube.
Oh, 100%.
With the wheels. Definitely. You gotta get him to watch this episode.
Oh,
man.
definitely, man.
For real. Now, you mentioned how great of a deal you got with the wheels, $200.
Mm-hmm.
You also mentioned that the suspension or something you mentioned was like $1,600. What was that again? Or $1,200? What was it?
The suspension was about $1,200.
$1,200, right? So since we're talking numbers like that, what would you say was your most expensive mod thus far?
So the suspension was probably the most expensive mod. And then the one mod that I don't have anymore was the sound system per se.
Okay.
So that was a downfall. That was a letdown. That was kind of I didn't take much of a loss on it when I got rid of it, but so I kind of gained it back. So ideally, just the suspension was the biggest cost on the car, really.
So guys, check this out. Look at the car. Y'all got to take this in, man. The way I'm looking at it, y'all got to take it in. The way it's sitting right now, it makes sense that he's saying that the suspension was the most expensive mod that he did. Just take a second to look at that. That's nice, man. The way it sits is beautiful. I can't even lie to you, B.
I really appreciate that, man.
Now, I know it's sitting pretty. I know you said that for the most part, it rides smooth like a baby, even though it's sitting low like that. But I got to ask you, too, is this your daily?
It really is, yeah. This is my daily driver.
This is the daily, guys.
I drove it into the city like 2 weeks ago. That was, woof.
Yeah?
Rough.
New York City? New York City.
And they were repaving, too.
And it was good?
Yeah, it was good. I mean,
okay.
It made it out alive.
Yeah. No doubt. That's what's up.
It withstands pretty well. I've hit quite a few things. I've driven it in quite a few places that shouldn't be catered to a car like this, but I'm not really scared to drive it anywhere. Yeah. It's a really low car. Don't get it twisted. But I've been driving low cars for a little while now, so you become accustomed to it. Not everyone could drive. Like, to me, like, this is a low car, but like I've seen a lot lower cars. My friends daily drive super low cars too. So like this is like definitely a low car that's good for daily driving. This
Facts.
Car right here represents that,
Facts. I would say that. I would definitely say that. You getting the look. You definitely getting that low look. You getting that stand. Like, it's just, I can't even stop like raving over the look of how it sits. I think that's key with this car. How you did it is superb. But again, it's functional. You can still move around. It's not. Yeah. It's not, literally on the floor where everything is dragging and stuff like that. So I think that's a great look, man.
And I take it around mountain curves too. Like, when we went up on that cruise, a few weeks ago that we did.
Yeah.
This car around the corners, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, with the suspension on it, I would never thought a car like this can go around corners the way it does. And it's effortless, You don't feel anything crazy. You don't feel unsafe about it.
Right.
Nothing. I mean, it's pretty sharp, pretty solid.
Dope. Now, how long have you been working on it? I know you did little small, simple things to it. However, from the day you got your first mod, which was the the badge in the back?
The badge was the first mod.
So the first mod, which was the badge in the back, to where it's sitting now, how long has it been?
I told myself when I bought the car, I'd wait a year, but I didn't even give it a year. So it's been 3 years in total now.
Okay.
And it's nothing crazy. The reason why is because I didn't want to get too carried away,
Right.
Also, I try to keep it where I remain, you know, I focus on my priorities too, you know,
Facts.
rather than not get too carried away with this car specifically.
Facts.
Plus, you know, like I'm at a point now where I kind of want to just leave it the way it is, even though I had a lot of intention to like do crazy things. Like, and I say that exterior wise, you know,
Yeah.
because putting the wheels on it was already like that was already the way the wheels went was perfect, you know. And I'm in the process of trying to put wheels, and it's already another issue, you know. So it's been like a solid 3 years since I started modifying the car, and everything took time, little by little.
Yeah.
The suspension, it took 6. Like I didn't do it for I did the 6 months, 7 months of ownership. I did the coilovers of the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you were sick, you already had the car for 6, 7 months, and then you did it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then it was stock. It just literally had the coilovers on it, and then that was it. And then I added like a subwoofer and an amp, like I have now. I just did that prior to, which was pretty simple.
Okay. Wow. I mean, listen, man. You definitely did your thing with it. I love it, bro.
Man. I appreciate that.
I love it because, like you say, it got this. It's like a sporty, but it's elegant.
Yeah.
It's just smooth. It's just, to me, when y'all look up the definition of a smooth look and a clean look, this is what y'all should see right here. It's not overdone. It's just little accents that make it change the whole situation up. I wish we had like a completely stock one, same as that, to put it right next to it so people could be like, oh, nah, 2 different worlds, as simple as it may be. But I think we touched on everything. Is there anybody you want to shout out? Anybody that motivated you, that helped you with the build before we end it?
Realistically, no, not really. I think this car was just really me, just my imagination, because people didn't really, when I bought this car, I felt like people judged me when I bought it, realistically. So I don't really have no one to shout out on it, because I made this car what it is, and people stop me every day to tell me they like my car, and it's a good feeling, and it took a lot of hard work to make it this way, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. So, you know, really just, honestly, that's pretty much it, really. For me, it's this car is definitely a self-made car. It's my imagination came to life because this was something that was just an idea when I got the car. I was like, imagine I make it sit like that one day.
Facts.
And it sits like it. So it's a blessing. I'm pretty happy about it, and you know, I continue to keep doing my little things to it. You know, it just depends on what I come across.
Y'all heard that? Depends on what it come across. So based on that, if you do make some changes to it, that changes the whole outlook and the look of it overall. Can I get you back for a part 2?
Absolutely.
My boy, I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man. I really do appreciate it.
Guys, this is it. Regular Guys.Eregular Cars on YouTube. Make sure you tap in. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tap in. Hit the subscribe button. Also, Regular Guys.Eregular Cars on Instagram. Make sure you follow, because once you follow me on Instagram, you're going to get 2 to 3 weeks in advance of what's about to drop. And then last but not least, we got TikTok. Regular Guys.Eregular Cars on TikTok. We're going to take these videos, we're going to flip it, bounce it, and you're going to love it. That being said, like I always say, love y'all. Peace.